We interrupt your weekend for breaking news. This just in. The Saturday Spin podcast is live. 3 friends, 3 perspectives, 1 mission to spin the week's headlines their way. Politics, pop culture, and the stories everyone's talking about. But no one's saying quite like this. This is the Saturday Spin podcast, breaking down the news before Monday can twist it back.
Hello there.
Welcome back, Charles.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. How's your week been? Or
Good.
weekend?
No snow
Monday.
yet. Good.
No
Good.
snow yet.
Good.
No snow.
Avoid the snow. I'm good.
It was pretty warm today too. They were talking 50 degree. It ended up being 50 degree. But there was something else exciting in the news today. Well, not exciting per se, more inevitable. And what we're talking about is this individual who stabbed her roommates because the Slender Man told her to, was let out on some kind of bond or some kind of rehabilitation program, and then decided to cut her bracelet off and went to Illinois. So we're going to hear a lot about this story, but I've got like a couple of just bubbling questions. For one, did the person who okayed her mentally, are they still going to have their job?
They shouldn't.
Right.
And I mean, this isn't just this case. This is all cases related to this.
This should be like, I don't know, there should be some database maybe where it's like, okay, this isn't the first time you've been lenient, and your leniency has caused pain or taxpayers' dollars.
Right.
Like it's time to move on from you. I think now okay, cool. Everybody makes mistakes, but in this reality, like, it shouldn't have been one doctor. It should have been multiple doctors.
In
Are
the
they good at their job?
in the judge that will shout him out, the judge that approved the release plan for Morgan
Yeah.
was Scott Wagner, Waukesha County Circuit Judge. Now,
Okay.
I don't know much about him. This is from Fox 6,
Nope.
our local news here.
Of course.
This happened in 2014, but we dug into this before the show
Yeah.
before the show started, and the numbers don't lie. I mean, rehabilitation programs are helping. They are helping. This is a fact. They're helping.
It's better
But
than 2008. Yeah.
I mean, this goes for everything. This isn't just, a murder trial, a murder case. This is a human issue that we're having with this. Like, there's got to
Why
be
is
more
it
control.
why why is it so hard for these people to look at evil and recognize it? Why are they taking positions, in a sense, where they think they can do, like, time and time again? Now, another question I have, because reading into it, I realized that there are a lot of successful stories, and maybe those successful stories aren't as entertaining. That's why we don't hear about them, and we hear more about the countless people who've been let go 29, 30 times. Like, what it I and I'm generally curious.
I understand in this case because she was 12 when this happened. So, like, they think
Right.
10 she was in for 10, 12 years. She's rehabilitated. I get it. Maybe she seemed like she was,
Yeah.
but yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. You're saying as an adult, when an adult commits a crime, what in your head says, "Oh my god, this person is completely rehabilitated. They're good to go. Let's just send them right back into society and see what happens." Are you playing Russian roulette with people out there? Like, you're okay with that? Like, you're the person that determines whether or not it's safe for that person to go back into society, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm good with it." And then there's no repercussions if something happens?
See, because we don't I mean, we're assuming,
We're assuming a psychiatrist cleared this and
and
said,
by
"Yeah."
by assumptions, it's more of just what we've been seeing in the past. This person lets out these people for these amount of time, and This person's been let go 29 times and this person was let go this many times. It's like, at what point did you see them again and go, yeah, whatever we've been doing isn't working. So let's try it 28 more times.
Yeah.
That seems like a gross misuse of taxpayer funds. To me, it seems like whomever's in that position has no idea how to do their job. So why do they still have a job?
They shouldn't. They should be held to the same standards as anybody else.
The
Uh,
people who got together and okayed this from a psychiatric point of view, yeah, I believe that they need to be held to some form of accountability.
okay. I have I asked for the psychological process for someone to be released from prison on a secure,
Mhm.
blah blah blah. Long-term mental health treatment, no violent disruptive incidents, demonstrated coping skills, mental health risk assessment, the biggest factor, risk assessment of reoffending.
Mhm.
HCR 20, there's a bunch of different like things that they fill out, ability to follow rules, risk of relapse, risk of harming themselves or others, into institutional reports to the court. These are obviously things that are going to be held. Anybody that goes and gets released from prison that has parole is going to have all these
Right.
conditions. But there's like 20 different things. And then the judge's final determination, post release supervision, crucial stage. It says any violation. You can break this all down to, Charles, exactly what you said. Where is the accountability for the people that allow it to keep
That are
happening
making these
over and
decisions.
over and over again?
If we put their feet to the fire for the decisions they're making that's affecting society, both financially and physically, mentally, however you want to put that, they need to start being put under the microscope as well. We should know them. We should know their jobs. And this isn't so the internet can send them death threats. There are weirdos all over the place. But if there is no accountability for your actions and you're just I know the science isn't perfect.
No, absolutely not. It's terrible, to be honest with you. It's hard to see, regardless of the situation, it's hard to see somebody going and getting released from prison, going back into society, doing the exact same shit that they did in the first place. At least in this case, nobody was harmed. The bracelet was
Yeah.
cut, the person was reintroduced, and they just like a
S-
wild animal, they scurry off, you know?
So we'll move on to part two of what we do in these scenarios. Because many people talk about them. Something we like to do specific on this show is try to create or think of a foundational piece that will allow for the building of a better future. The prison systems don't work. Now, I haven't done enough research personally, and maybe this will be a story we here at the Saturday Spin do throughout over the next couple of years. But I haven't done enough research to understand why prison systems don't work. Talking to many people who have been through the system, I have a vague understanding. Conditions are terrible. The people who work there, it's not a very happy place, and it's not going to be in some cases. There is evil out there, but we're obviously not talking about your murderers or your pedophiles or your anything to do with child trafficking, yada 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 yada. You're way too smart for us if you come in here in the comment section talking about that shit, because we are not talking about that. We are talking about the individuals who are released by people whom are professionals and they have no accountability, and they always blame the system for why they did what they did again, where in fact you had multiple people who get paid way too much money looking at this individual, and they thought with their professional opinion that it should be okay. I don't feel, and we don't feel that those people should be on that board anymore. Just like a driver's license, you should have a yearly review of your driving skills. God, that would be terrible.
Could you imagine having to every
It's
year go
so
and
terrible.
get reassessed for your driving skills? There'd be a
I
lot
mean,
of elderly people that would fail because they couldn't see anymore, but
a
yeah.
lot of teenagers that would fail because they didn't wear this to a or that or do that. Yeah, absolutely.
One
Yeah.
thing I noticed
It
with
would be
teenagers
terrible,
is
but
seatbelts. Seatbelts are
why
getting
yeah,
bad again for
I
teenagers
bet
and all
insurance
them.
prices would go down.
Yeah, probably.
There'd be less people on the road constantly. Car
Yeah.
dealerships wouldn't be happy though.
No.
So let's try to let's spitball some things in a scenario with very little information on what can be better. Obviously, if I'm seeing you more than 3 or 4 times, whatever's happened before isn't working now, so we should get to the root of that and understanding the individuals. Is it education? Is it the inability to gain financial freedom due to the way society or a societal norm has affected you based on labels, be it the color of your skin, be it the fact that you were in prison? I mean, obviously, what you did
Right.
matters, but there's a lot of scenarios out there, and there's a lot of situations where, and those are probably your 43% that don't revisit in 3 years and yada, yada, yada. So is it becoming more of a coddling effect, or do we just need to beef these facilities up,
Well
not make them a luxury getaway, but make them a true place for rehabilitation, somebody place where people care?
Well, right. Yeah, you gotta care about what you're teaching. Tougher, more reality-based, risk assessments, independent second opinions by secondary psychiatrists, dynamic risk factors like, "Hey, this person ever done this before? Has this person ever reacted this way before? Or why are they frustrated when I bring this up?" There needs to be more of a less coddling and more of a professional, hands-on stress test type interviews with these people. Things
Right.
need to change. It can't just be A and B. This person feels this way. You can't just hold up the blotted pictures anymore and go, "What do you see? What do you see?"
All
You
right.
can't just do
Right.
that.
There needs to be a well thought out process with this. So one of the things that really hurts our prison systems often is funding. That doesn't make sense to me. You raise taxes for a fucking campground. You raise you there's referendums all the time to raise taxes for this or that. It doesn't make any sense that all we constantly hear is prisons are underfunded. Why don't the prisons have enough guards and enough staff, enough educators? Why not? And the answer that we're given by political leaders is funding.
Right. Budget funds have been reallocated to different
Yeah.
programs, different facilities, larger prisons get more share of the money, blah, blah, blah. Cut it any way you want. It's the same thing. They're
So
consolidating underused facilities, blah, blah, blah.
it
Federal grants.
I mean, so this and teachers and educators, yeah, so on and so forth. We're always saying out loud that they're underfunded, but how isn't anything ever being done about it? We have we spend so much money as a country on research and development. Why don't we spend that money on the foundational safety of America and the growth of our children? It's just some weird random questions I have about this
Right.
because like you tell us that there's problems and those problems are connected to a funding issue. Well, they're your buildings. Only 8% of the prisons in the United States are private, those are actually probably the better prisons. So you're talking 92% of the prisons in the country are public. It's
I'm gonna pull those numbers up for you. You just brought up a incredibly good point. How much it
so
costs per year to have an inmate in prison versus how much it costs for a student to be taught. each year.
Yeah.
So prisoners cost between 35 and $75,000 per inmate per year. And then I asked about teaching students. Well,
Mhm.
$20,000 in a public district per pupil. So
Yeah.
they're getting 20 grand. That's why our education system is probably just as
There's
messed up,
and
you
what
know?
we're and as we talk and as we converse on this show, we're gonna find a lot of these little random hiccups, and that's we like
And
to bring a lot of common sense.
average is 16 to 18 for public schools in the United States, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, you have all this funding going to all these places. You have city officials who are making six figures in a reality where they could be making 85, 90, and be just as comfortable because we all know that as long as it's in the company car, the city's paying for it. It's these people tell us about funding. These people tell us that we don't have enough votes. Yet all of us normal people are like, hey, we want our roads fixed. We want our prison systems to be safe and fair. We want our education system to be elite. It's 2025. This is the United States of America. Why are we still having these random conversations? And this goes to both sides of the aisle. I'm so sick of you guys sending money to other countries when that significant chunk of money can go to something as simple as making high school lunch free in public schools for America. Like the amount of money we spend on other countries for their people to get their dirty little grubby greedy hands on can be spent taking care of the hungry and forgive us for beating a dead horse, but this is the foundational pieces of the beginning of our podcast. So we have hit on a couple points that have been beaten into the ground, but the reason is more so is because they just, for the love of gosh, continue to tell us the same thing, and then we go vote these same people back in. So as we're approaching the end, I would like to remind everyone, and thank you so much for those statistics, Patrick. I love that. I love that. The so some of the comments, some of the questions that I think and that we think you should be asking. Who are the people who ultimately let these out, and are they held to the same standard based off of their decision? And we need to start looking at these career politicians. If they've been in office for 2, 3, 4 terms, and we're still dealing with the same problems that they talked about fixing when they got in, they're not the ones for the job. No matter how much money is spent telling you otherwise, why do you think there are millions of dollars spent on these politicians? Not to get them elected, to keep them elected. Well, why do you got to spend so much? Why can't you just send out an ad that tells me what you've done for the greater good of society and what that you should be doing that? You shouldn't be making a television ad about what this person does in their free time. What have you done on the clock? Because we're still in this crazy scenario where our prisons are terrible, our education system is lacking, our roads are laughable. All right. And the United States is very big, blah, 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 blah. We got a lot of money. Just spending it like a 6-year-old in a candy store. And it's our fault. We're the ones who keep these people in. You got Nancy and Chuck and left and right. And it's, oh, this has been my dream. And it's like, you know, shit. You've been getting six figures your whole life to work for like 72 days a year, assholes.
Yeah.
So hit us up in the comments section. Tell us what you think. I mean, everybody thinks there should be term limits. Who do we think we can elect to bring those term limits into fruition? Because we're electing somebody who's ultimately putting a nail in their own coffin. Do we even think that's possible? Or is this just a laughing point that they get us to talk about? And again, we must ask ourselves, these people who have been there for X amount of time and we're still dealing with the same problems, but they keep giving us the same excuse. I can't do this because of that. Or I can't do anything over here because of these people. Maybe we just need to get rid of you all and revote in the entire system. Have just a holiday for it. It was a 45-day holiday. You can't spend too much money in 45 days. So the only thing you can arguably do is that would be so terrible today, though. Didn't New York just vote in like a socialist or a communist?
Yeah, call him a socialist. I guess that's probably the best term for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna find out. I mean, he can't get the $700 million
Man, when
dollars
it
that he
comes to
needs. Yeah.
when it comes to politics, you really are up a paddle without a creek. You know what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying? And I said that exactly how I wanted
It's a
to.
drought. It's a drought in New York
So,
City. All the people with the money are leaving. Oh, that's funny how that happens when you introduce socialism, right?
well, yeah. I mean, you
Mhm.
can tax businesses all you want, tax them right out of your state. Other states would be glad to have them. Private prisons get a lot of media attention because they raise ethical debates about profit motives in incarceration, but statistically, they remain a small slice of the system compared to the vast network of public prisons. The US prison system is overwhelmingly public, but the private sector plays a visible role in specific niches, like immigration detention, halfway houses, and certain state contracts. The debate isn't about numbers so much as about whether incarceration should ever be profit driven. I don't think a damn thing when it comes to the safety or health of the human being should be profit driven. Not fucking medicine, not food, not water, not, I mean, but I'm also a realist and I understand that shit doesn't just grow on trees. So
Right.
there is a cost, but we shouldn't survive to live.
Right.
That's all you're doing. You're just surviving to live one or
Yeah.
two moments and
Did
being
you
happy
make it
about it.
through the day? Yeah. You gonna make it
Yeah.
to tomorrow? I don't know.
No, and I'm the king of the day ends and why I'm just happy to be here. But it doesn't mean we can't make the place a little bit better than it was when we woke up. Patrick, do you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, we got some good ones coming up next week, the week after the holidays here. Charles
Yeah.
and I will be really getting into the nitty gritty of what's going on. Hopefully by that time, the politics and the people have straightened themselves out, and we have a little more information on what's going on in this crazy world of ours.
Yeah. And as we always have since a few podcasts ago, we'll find it, we'll dig into it, and we'll bring it to you as plain and simple, unbiased as possible. Stay curious, stay grounded, and remember this world is a much better place with you in it.